Hi, and welcome to Nursery Rhymes in Modern Times, where we investigate nursery rhymes from traditional times and modern times and how they fit into our contemporary society. Today, I wanted to talk about something I've been thinking a lot about, which is what makes a nursery rhyme. So, it could be that it has to exist for a certain amount of time before it really counts as a nursery rhyme. Or maybe does it need to be included in a treasury of Mother Goose rhymes? Or maybe it needs to be written down. But there are a lot of things to consider when you are thinking about a nursery rhyme. I think a lot of us tend to think that it has to be something that's existed for a while, that's official in some capacity, that we can then pass from one generation to the next by the written word. I would venture to argue that that's not necessarily the case. I think that for a nursery rhyme, it can be anything that supports the literacy and learning that happens with these rhymes. So you've got repetition, you have the cadence of language, you have the consonant sounds and the patterns and rhythms that go with the language that the song or rhyme is in. So in that case, could you make a nursery rhyme today? I would say yes. I think that there is something to be said about the traditional nursery rhymes that are coming into the conversation, things that have been shared by parents and grandparents through the ages, but also there's room for those new ones to come around. So, on one side, if we talk about nursery rhymes as only the ones that have been around for a long time, that are quote unquote tried and true, is that good for the extent of the nursery rhymes that we're teaching to the kiddos that we work with? Or is it important to have a blend of the new ones as well? Or is it better to focus on the new ones that don't have the history that goes along with some of the older traditional ones and forget those entirely? So there's a lot of gray area here, which you'll see a lot in these conversations. There's not really one strong answer one way or the other, but I think that it would be fair to say that a nursery rhyme is something that speaks to the culture from which it comes, that speaks to the language that it is written or spoken in, and that can be shared easily with young kiddos. I am curious, though, to hear your thoughts. What makes a nursery rhyme for you? Do you think it has to have some sort of anchor in history? And then at what point then does it become a nursery rhyme? Does it have to exist for 10, 20 years, more? Does it have to have come from a country different from yours? Does it have to have originated in your own country? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, what you think about this, where nursery rhymes come from, how they generate, and then where we draw that line of like when they really exist. It's a fascinating thing to think about, especially because there are so many that exist now that didn't exist before. But then there is still that tether to our history through the more traditional nursery rhymes that have existed for over 100 years. So share your thoughts. I would love to hear them. You can share them below or reach out to me directly. And remember, please to like, subscribe, and share. Share this with your friends. Pass it along to anyone who's a parent or a teacher or a librarian, someone working with young kiddos, doing nursery rhymes on a daily basis, and I'd love to hear their thoughts and share them around as well. And it doesn't just have to be in the United States, it can be shared anywhere in the world. Thanks again so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.